On the frosty morning of February 4th, 2003, the residents of Mold, a market town in Flintshire, North Wales, woke to a scene painted white with snow, the air biting with winter's cold. At around 7:15 a.m, a local resident emerged from his Clayton Drive home, intending to clear the light dusting of snow from his car windshield before heading to work. To his shock, he discovered the local postman lying face down on the pavement just outside his driveway, surrounded by a pool of blood. The postman had been viciously assaulted, struck over the head at least 7 times with an 18-inch wooden club crafted from a banister rail. The discarded club was found nearby, with the victim's DNA present on it. The extent of the attack was described as, quote, ferocious, leaving the base of the man's skull severely fractured and his jaw completely shattered. Emergency services rushed the victim, Paul Savage, to Wrexham Mailer Hospital, while police scoured the area in search of the perpetrator. However, the harsh weather conditions posed challenges to their efforts. Despite medical intervention, Paul never regained consciousness. Paul Savage, a 30-year-old married father of one, originally from Sale, Greater Manchester, was described by his wife Charlotte as a caring, funny and loving husband, as well as a wonderful father to their daughter Regan. The family had lived at various addresses in Manchester, where Paul ran a pound store. However, he struggled with depression, weight loss, and dissatisfaction with his job, prompting the family to relocate to North Wales in 2002 for a fresh start. Upon moving, Paul found employment as a local postman, which brought about a positive transformation in him. According to Charlotte, her husband seemed like a new man, thoroughly enjoying his job and experiencing a renewed sense of purpose. Paul's newfound contentment led to positive lifestyle changes, including reduced drinking and smoking, as well as efforts to improve his fitness. His manager at the post office commended him as, quote, very nice, pleasant and reliable, reflecting Paul's dedication and positive attitude in his new role. On the fateful morning of his death, Paul adhered to his routine, waking up to his alarm at 4 a.m. as usual. However, he lingered in bed for an additional half an hour before rising, seemingly in a rush, likely due to running late for work. Commencing his shift, Paul embarked on his usual rounds, delivering mail while traversing the streets of Mold on foot and bicycle. Tragically, midway through his workday, his life was abruptly cut short. Reports surfaced indicating that shortly before Paul's demise, 2 young men in dark hoodies, estimated to be around 20 years old, were spotted near the vicinity where Paul had left his bicycle on Clayton Drive, precisely where his body was discovered. The presence of these individuals raises suspicions. Had someone been observing Paul as he carried out his rounds? Further reports emerged indicating that 2 individuals matching the description of those seen near the scene of Paul's murder were observed running along Clayton Drive towards the junction at Queen's Park shortly after the incident. Additionally, similar sightings of hooded individuals were reported in an alley connecting Beach Drive, Cedar Grove and Elm Drive. Amidst these sightings, a white Ford Sierra was spotted in the area around the time of the incident. However, neither the vehicle nor the hooded individuals have been identified or located to date. Local rumours also circulated regarding a potential altercation between Paul and some youths during his postal rounds a few days prior to his death. While lacking concrete evidence, these rumours raise questions about the possible involvement of the 2 hooded males in the incident, if the rumours are to be believed. However, without substantiated proof, it remains challenging to ascertain the veracity of these claims and their connection to Paul's tragic demise. Initially, authorities suspected that Paul Savage's death might have been the result of a botched robbery or a random attack. However, as the investigation delved into Paul's past, a more complex and sinister narrative began to emerge. Paul had a significant criminal history, spanning approximately a decade. 2 years prior to his untimely death in 2001, he had served a 9-month prison sentence for drug-related charges, specifically for possessing cannabis with a street value of £1 million and intent to supply. Following his release from prison, Paul, alongside his wife Charlotte and their 4-year-old daughter, relocated to the secluded village of Gwernafield near Mold, Wales. It was here that Paul secured employment as a full-time postman with Royal Mail. This revelation cast a shadow of doubt on the initial assumptions surrounding Paul's demise, suggesting that his past may have played a significant role in the circumstances leading up to his tragic death. The investigation into Paul Savage's brutal attack involved collaboration between police units from both Greater Manchester and Wales, as authorities appealed to the public for assistance in solving the case. Despite offering a substantial £100,000 reward, no significant information was forthcoming from the public. In the spring of 2003, 5 individuals were apprehended and subjected to questioning, but all were subsequently released without charge. Detectives undertook a reconstruction of the crime in the hope of jogging someone's memory and eliciting further leads, yet this effort failed to yield any significant breakthroughs. By 2005, investigators claimed to have identified a motive for the crime, although they declined to provide further details. Speculation persists regarding whether Paul's death may have been linked to his prior involvement in drug-related activities or other factors. In 2010, forensic teams conducted searches in fields near the crime scene, recovering items of interest for testing. However, the results of these tests and their significance to the case remain undisclosed. Despite these efforts, Paul's case has hit a standstill, with authorities unable to uncover new evidence to bring his assailant to justice. The quest for closure for Paul Savage and his grieving loved ones continues, as the mystery surrounding his tragic death remains unsolved. June White, Paul's mother, remains steadfast in her quest for justice, tirelessly advocating for answers in her son's case. Her hope is buoyed by the possibility of advancements in DNA technology aiding in the resolution of Paul's murder, an optimism shared by law enforcement. In 2018, a forensic review prompted the reopening of Paul's case, which had previously been closed in 2009. This development reignited hope for closure and accountability in Paul's untimely death. Meanwhile, Paul's wife and daughter continue to deal with their profound loss, their grief compounded by the absence of resolution. Together with June, they cling to the belief that someday justice will prevail for Paul and his memory. Authorities emphasise the importance of public cooperation, urging anyone with any information related to Paul Savage's murder to come forward. Those with pertinent details can reach out anonymously to Crime Stoppers at 0800 555 111. As of 2024, there is a £20,000 reward for any information leading to the capture and conviction of Paul's killer, who to this day remains unidentified.